Paul Hogan once made $328 million from Crocodile Dundee, but by 2015, he had only $50,000 left in his bank account. The Australian tax office banned him from leaving the US for 7 years, and during that time, he even missed his mother's funeral. His co-stars had to lend him money to help him keep his house. But things got worse. In 2022, doctors found something growing inside his body, and since then, he hasn't been able to gain weight no matter what he eats. The man who once wrestled crocodiles now needs help opening pill bottles. Paul Hogan was born on October 8, 1939, in Lightning Ridge, a small, dusty mining town in New South Wales. Only about 2,500 people live there, most digging for opals in dangerous, hot shafts. His father, a war veteran, worked as a canteen store manager, while his mother raised 6 children in tough conditions. The streets were dirt, and fights over opals sometimes ended in death. This rough environment made Paul strong and street-smart. When he was 9, his family moved to Granville, a working-class suburb in Sydney, because opal mining was no longer profitable. They lived in a cramped 2-bedroom house and struggled financially, surviving on his father's $3 weekly pension. Paul went to a strict Catholic school, where teachers used rulers as weapons, and expectations were low. He dropped out at 15 to help support his family, joining thousands of other teenagers who had to work instead of study. His first job was in construction, where he developed a sharp sense of humor to deal with hard labor and cold nights. Around the stove at home, he entertained neighbors with impressions and jokes, charging small coins for laughs. Humor became his escape. When he was 12, Paul got lost in the dangerous opal fields of Lightning Ridge for 6 hours under the blazing sun. He nearly died but survived, and the experience left a deep impression on him. Back in school, his pranks earned him the nickname Hoggas. He told wild stories about fake animals like drop bears, and even teachers believed him. He turned his humor into a business, charging schoolmates to hear his made-up tales. By 19, he was working as a rigger on the Sydney Harbour Bridge, climbing without safety gear. The job was deadly, and many workers died. Hogan used humor to ease the fear. At night, he worked in pubs, joking with customers. One night, a joke went too far and started a fight, teaching him that comedy could be dangerous. He married his first wife, Nolene Edwards, in 1958 when he was 19. They had 3 sons by the time he was 22, but money was always tight. He worked hard, even smuggling opal dirt for extra cash. In 1968, his life changed when TV producers filmed a safety ad on the bridge. Hogan started cracking jokes, and they were so funny that producers offered him TV work. His commercials became hits, and soon, he was famous. By the 1970s, he was a national TV star. His Paul Hogan show started in 1973 and became one of the most popular shows in Australia, pulling in millions of viewers. But behind the scenes, there were problems. Writers stole his jokes, and accidents happened on set, including a crocodile attack during a sketch. Despite setbacks, his comedy made him a household name. In the 1980s, Hogan became a movie star. Crocodile Dundee, inspired by a real bushman named Rod Ansel, became a global hit, earning $328 million worldwide. Hogan co-wrote and starred in it, and the movie turned him into an international icon. But the real man behind the story, Ansel, got nothing and later died in a police shootout. While Hogan found fame, his personal life fell apart. He divorced Nolene in 1981, remarried her in 1982, and divorced again in 1986 after an affair with his co-star Linda Kozlowski. He married Linda in 1990, and they had a son, Chance, but their marriage ended in 2008 after years of tension over money and Hogan's obsession with hiding assets. She walked away with $20 million in their Malibu home. In 2003, Hogan was accused of hiding $37.5 million in Swiss accounts to avoid taxes. He was banned from leaving the U.S. for 7 years and missed major family events. He claimed he'd been misled by advisors, but the case destroyed his reputation. He spent over $10 million on legal fees, lost most of his wealth, and suffered from health issues. By 2015, he was nearly broke, surviving on small roles and help from friends. Old co-stars loaned him $500,000 so he wouldn't lose his home. Then, in 2022, doctors diagnosed him with retroperitoneal fibrosis, a rare disease that attacks organs. Treatment caused him to lose muscle and fat. At 83, he looked frail and said he felt like he was held together by string. His son Chance now cares for him full-time. Despite rumors of his death, Hogan remains alive but weak. He's been honored in Australia for his impact on culture and tourism, and he still jokes about his past. His fortune has slowly recovered to around $20 million, though he lives quietly in Los Angeles. Even after all the fame, scandals, illnesses, and regrets, Paul Hogan never lost his humor. He says it's the small acts of kindness, a helping hand, a laugh, a memory, that have kept him going. And when he finally returns to Australia, he says he wants his ashes scattered off the Sydney Harbour Bridge, the place where it all began.